If you are a fan of What to Watch Live, you know that the Xfinity editors are pretty obsessed with TV and movies, but we're also really big fans of music, and our very own Xfinity music editor Kwam has put together an immersive experience that showcases our eclectic tastes in tunage. Kwam, tell us about the Mixfinity tape.
So thank you, David. But first, I want to start with an anecdote. So when I was younger, I used to love creating mixtapes, or like burn CDs. I wasn't that old, or yeah, I'm not that old. Where I actually created a mixtape, but I would burn a lot of CDs, and I would usually create them for myself for just to create a specific vibe. But I used to think that creating a mixtape used to say a lot about you, like how you structured it, what songs you chose, and the overall purpose of the mixtape would just reveal so much about you. And so, fast forwarding, as you mentioned, as editors, we usually showcase our personalities through like what we're watching, movies we like, TV shows that we can't get enough of. But it got me thinking, why don't we showcase our personalities through music? And so, boom, here we have it, the Mixfinity tape. And so, in this collection, you could really get to know us just through music, and you get to see all our individual tastes. You get to see some of our best picks of the year and see us hang out with other music stars and discover more music across Xfinity. And so for me personally, my taste in music is just so wide and varied that it was really hard for me to really kind of like dwindle down my personal taste and what I listen to into like a small collection. But you get to see what I listen to when I want to work out, when I want to go for a drive. My driving playlists are Chef Kiss. You get to see some of my favorite album, Kanye's, Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Excellent album. I know Kanye is going crazy right now, but Kanye is going to be Kanye. Uh, but I really love this collection because it really gets to show our personalities and who we are and what we like in our interests just through music. And so some of the things that I really wanted to point out that I thought were really interesting, at least for myself, will be right here on the screen in just a single moment. Um, yes, so I want to first talk about my favorite artist, Kendrick Lamar. So I get asked this question all the time of who's my favorite artist, and I usually say that question is too hard for me to answer. There's too many choices. What genre are we talking about? And it really took a lot of introspection for me to really come to grips with that Kendrick Lamar is my favorite artist of all time. And let me tell you why. Let me fanboy for the next 30 to 40 seconds because I'm about to go off. Okay, so Kendrick is him. No, he he just makes so much. So he makes great music, and it's music that touches the soul. It's music that has a purpose. It's educational. There's like so many. There's like so much you can get out of Kendrick Lamar's music. He does make songs just for clubs or just for like casual listening. But his best music and his best songs are really the songs that make you think, that have a lot of reflection involved, or is talking to a larger issue or to a more, I guess, grandiose societal thing that's going on in the cultural zeitgeist. And you don't really get that from too many artists, and you don't get it done as well as Kendrick does it. Obviously you see artists who make statements with their music, but Kendrick is able to do it in a way where it's just amazing. It's amazing, and I can't describe it any other way. I'm just saying it's amazing, and it sounds great to your ears. My eardrums, when he's in my head, my headphones, I'm just like on cloud nine. I don't know why. It's just him. He is him. He's built different. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. A lot more. I might say a lot more. Should I say more? I don't know. But let me just wrap this up because I'm talking about Kendrick way too much. I could talk about him a lot more, but he is him. His music is amazing. It's everything I want in music wrapped into one man, and I love him. And that's all I have to say about Kendrick Lamar. Going on to my go-to podcast. So if you cannot tell, I am a huge music nerd. I love breaking down music and not just like listening to like what instruments were used or the purpose behind the song. No, I want to go deeper into the music. And Dissect on Spotify is like the perfect podcast for that. It breaks down music, by like the purpose of the song, meaning of the lyrics, and even gets even deeper into that. Where I love before like its breakdown on hip hop, and going back to Kendrick Lamar, they have this great section of breaking down a Kendrick verse, and it's so just mind-boggling, amazing. I'm like, first of all, who did the research on this, and how did you come up with this? Because I don't even think Kendrick Lamar knew what he was doing when he wrote that verse, but somehow you guys put all this together and present it in such a way where it's like, wow, I feel smart. I feel better than the next person because I know what went into making this verse. And the sect is just great for just breaking down music, telling those stories behind songs. Audrey, she just was talking about the story behind this old song that no one really cares about anymore.
Wait.
90s.
First of all, it's from the 90s. Everyone except Kwam knows it. It's called The Way by Fastball.
Yeah.
Look it up. The story behind it is crazy.
It is.
If you're into those old songs, those old tunes, yes, the ways or whatever. But I'm sure that song is on the sect, and they probably are breaking down how crazy the story is that the song is based off of. And it has just all that kind of stuff and more. So check out this sect if you are a music nerd like myself. And lastly, my guilty pleasure song. And it really, oh gosh, I had to do some deep reflecting on this. Baby by Justin Bieber is a bop. It is his best song of his entire discography. And I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. I don't think that's a hot take. Because if we really look at Baby, it is a song that we all can relate to. It's about a guy, but it can be anybody, who is vying for the love of someone else. And he's doing everything for her. He's singing, dancing. He brought Drake to the bowling alley. I didn't even know that. I had to rewatch the music video. Is that Drake in a bowling alley back in 2010? Oh my God. He's doing everything to show this girl that he loves her. And what does she do? She turns him away. And now he's saying, baby, baby, baby. It's a painful song. We all can relate to it. If you ever been through heartbreak, you understand this song. But at the end of the day, he realizes that, hey, I'm the Bieber. I'm Justin Biebs. I don't need you. Bye. And that was like just a revelation for me. Because I'm like, you know what? Never devalue yourself. Always realize you are the prize. And Baby is that song. Oh, I love Baby. It's such a great song. What a great message. And Justin Bieber is at his peak at his youngest age of what? 12 when he made that song. And he got a feature from Ludacris, the hip hop legend. What? Okay. Baby cannot be beat by anything Justin Bieber has ever done, ever. I'm sorry. I like Justin Bieber. But Baby, certified classic. And that's all. That's all I have for my deep dive. Audrey, what are you into?
Right, first of all, the fact that I have to follow the excitement that was just put on display for us is a real challenge to live up to.
I also really want I want a T-shirt that says he brought Drake to a bowling alley. I want that shirt. I want that shirt.
Should we make some Want to Watch Live merch and start selling it with quotes?
I mean, we already have Scott's I Charter Yachts shirt.
We do.
He brought Drake to a bowling alley shirt coming soon.
Stay tuned, everyone. So sure, I'm happy to talk about some really old music from the 90s. So if we go to my slides, so again, this was also really hard. Favorite anything is a challenge at all times. And I did pick another album at first, and then driving in my car, I heard a song from Nirvana's MTV Unplugged in New York and was like, holy crap, no, that's like the best album of all time for me anyway. So I asked Kwam if I could change it. The thing that I'm a huge Nirvana fan anyway, but this album in particular, just the live factor of it and how emotional it is and like gritty and just obviously grungy because it's Nirvana, is just my favorite thing ever. And I don't know, Kwam, have you heard of Nirvana, this band from the 90s?
That's one of my favorite old bands. I love Nirvana. when I was watching the new Batman movie and they were playing that theme, I was like, oh, they're gonna just ruin this for everybody because now it's gonna be TikTok to death, and it was.
Was it?
It was. Something's in the way. Yeah, that's something.
Yeah.
That song. Yeah.
Yeah,
it got TikToked.
It's a great track.
Yeah, awesome track.
But yes, amazing album in general. Favorite artist, Fiona Apple. Everyone thinks she's like, you know, like so sad. She's really just a musical genius. Like maybe one of the best piano players of all time. Her parents met on Broadway. She comes from like a very musical family. Her sister's a cabaret singer. From her first album, Title, which I think was in 1996, was my favorite album. Like, stopped me dead in my tracks. I listened to it nonstop on repeat in my like, Discman until it practically like just skipped every song because I wore out the CD. And I just love everything that she does. I think she's a musical genius. Completely. I say she's underrated, even though she has won like many awards and is on like many lists for being the talent that she is. And guilty pleasure song, I didn't have to think about this. I don't know why this popped into my head so easily. I feel like people don't like this song, The Hook by Blues Traveler. I freaking love it. And I think it all boils down to harmonica, because harmonica might be my most favorite musical instrument of all time. Like Tom Petty, Bob Dylan. I really just enjoy a harmonica. So those are my picks. And I'm also now realizing that all of these albums are from the 90s, which is old. But I think that was just the favorite time of my life. Like 7th grade was really like my sweet spot. So I think I just really cling to things from that era.
Your teenage dirtbag years.
I don't want to ever let go of them. I still feel like I am a teenage dirtbag, but clearly not a teen. The other crazy thing I just want to mention, because I looked up the video for The Hook because I haven't seen it in a very long time. It is over 37 million views on YouTube. 37 million. That's like pretty crazy.
I like that song better than the other Blues Traveler song, honestly.
Okay.
The hook is better than, what's their other one? I can't stop thinking of The Hook now.
I don't know, because The Hook is amazing. And actually,
can y'all sing The Hook for me to know if I can know if I know it?
No.
My voice does not work that way.
Run Around, Blues Traveler.
I don't hate that, actually.
It's fine, but The Hook is better.
Yeah, John Popper.
The Criminal, Fiona Apple's Criminal, I know it's like her biggest hit or whatever, and I don't have like any knowledge of any other Fiona Apple song, but Criminal is still holds up. One of the best songs ever.
It's all of her songs are the best songs ever, and I will give you all of the CDs to listen to. I will make you a Fiona Apple mixtape, a Mixfinity tape. She's just a delight. Every time I've seen her in concert, I've cried. I've seen her in concert more than any human on the planet. But so that's mine. David, what about you?
Yeah, so we'll kick things off with the band I've seen more times in concert than any other band, and that is Paramore. And they're my favorite band, and my favorite album of all time is Riot by Paramore. And if you're not familiar with the band, it consists of vocalist Hayley Williams, Zach Farrow, and Taylor York. And the band's lineup, aside from Hayley, has changed quite a bit over the years, but their sophomore album, Riot, and the hit single Misery Business is what put them on the map. They no longer sing Misery Business in concert, which is such a bummer, but you know, they've evolved as artists and blah, blah, blah. They don't sing it anymore. It's got some problem. It also has some problematic lyrics, and I totally get it. But for me, it's an absolute no-skip album. I love pop punk vibe, and Riot is full of those endlessly catchy tracks and hooks. I'm equally enthusiastic about their third album, Brand New Eyes, and less enthusiastic about their 2013 self-titled album and 2017's After Laughter, but that's just my personal taste. Paramore recently teased some new music and have a 19-date fall tour kicking off this weekend, so maybe we'll get a new album soon, but like, that is another album, or Riot is an album that it's so funny when you said wore out, Audrey, because I was going to use the phrase wore out too. Like, people don't really wear out albums or cassette tapes anymore. It's like, oh, I wore out the play button on my on my iPhone. Like, you can't literally wear out music anymore like you could, like, snap the tape on a cassette tape. Anyway, we're so old. My favorite solo artist was kind of a toss-up because I'm properly obsessed with Dua Lipa and Kim Petras, as so many people know. But I wanted to take this opportunity, use my platform to showcase an artist who's maybe less known, and her name is Sigrid. Sigrid is a 26-year-old Norwegian singer and songwriter who first caught my attention when I was sitting in an airport and I saw her music video on a TV in the distance. And I couldn't even hear the audio or the song, but I was so intrigued by her and her energy and this like quirky little dance she was doing. And I was like, who is that? And so I got up and I walked up to the TV to wait for the music video to end so her credit would come up, because that was like, you know, that's how you found out who sang things back in the day, by the credits on music videos. And the song was called High Five, and I played it on repeat until I literally couldn't stand it anymore. But she has a full catalog of dance-worthy songs, including Stranger, Sucker Punch, Don't Feel Like Crying, and Burning Bridges. And one of my personal favorites is a song she did with the singer Griff called Head on Fire. It's absolute fire. And Sigrid released her second full-length album called How to Let Go back in May. It's another no-skipper. And I'm seeing her perform live for the first time 3 days from now in Philly, and I'm so excited. Lastly, it's nearly impossible to pick a perfect movie soundtrack, but I have done it. I've done it, folks. And it is the soundtrack for a film entitled A Goofy Movie. And let me tell you, this is an example of the real ones knowing, because if you're a real one, you know about A Goofy Movie. I wouldn't say Goofy Movie is regarded as one of the best-known Disney animated movies of all time. I think it didn't even perform very well when it came out for whatever reason, but it definitely has a cult following, and it's one of my all-time favorites. It's a 1995 movie. It follows Goofy as he attempts to bond with his son Max during a cross-country road trip to Lake Destiny, Idaho. Max has other plans, however, as he reroutes their trip so he can see his favorite musician, Powerline, in concert in California. The soundtrack is awesome. It's full of great, like, heartfelt Disney songs like On the Open Road, Lester's Possum Park, and Nobody Else But You. But the true standouts are the songs performed by R&B singer Tevin Campbell, who plays Powerline. The tracks Stand Out and Eye to Eye are not only great Disney movie songs, but they could stand up to any pop song of the 1990s. They should be placed in a capsule and shot into space so aliens have an example of how perfect humanity can be. If you haven't seen A Goofy Movie, it's on Disney Plus, and you should go watch it and just love the music like I do. Thoughts?
I feel like this is the third time I've heard you talk about A Goofy Movie this week. And I have told you that I have not seen this movie. Maybe I will, but I do know about it from Cody Rigsby of Peloton fame, who is also obsessed with A Goofy Movie and talks about it on several Peloton rides.
He's a real one. Kwam, do you know this movie?
So I do know this movie, and I should have watched this movie, but I never sat down and fully actually watched this movie. Never as a kid, and I just like remember it like in passing. Like I would walk in a room and a Goofy movie be playing. I'm like, oh, it's time to leave. Time to get out of here. And so I don't really like know like the full. I never seen the movie in its entirety. I seen like clips and scenes. Like I remember when Goofy did something, and I think they were coming out of a river, and Max was mad, and he was like, "Dad, get away! You suck!" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Max, he's trying his hardest."
Wow, guys, I can't wait to watch this.
I'm like, he's doing his best, Max.
I mean,
break.
It's true. We have a coworker who said that her husband's family is so obsessed with it that they play Goofy movie songs at all of their family wedding receptions. I mean, people who love it know Eye to Eye and Stand Out are such good songs. Eye to Eye, man, I'll put that on my car, just interspersed with like regular artists. I'm like, there's Tevin Campbell, just killing it. There's people watching this right now are losing their minds that we're talking about Goofy Movie because people are that enthusiastic about it.
Like, I identify with David.
Anyway.
We'll see. We'll see what people have to say.
Check out some of our other controversial movie takes and random musical tastes and favorite songs and albums and artists and all that by saying Mixfinity tape into your voice remote.